All right. Shalom, 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 y'all. Shalom is Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat, and we have a great show for you today. As y'all know, it February is Black History Month, so why not bring out the true Black history, biblical Black history? Like a lot of you have probably never heard it before. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be going through the word and just talking about biblical Black history. Great show for you today. Stay tuned in. Spiritual Combat.
Chilling with my brother, same father, different mother, yeah. Chilling with my brother, same father, different mother, yeah. Oh, sweet and precious for us to dwell together. Same father, different mother, yeah. It's like the cloud on Mount Zion. Same father, different mother, yeah.
Oh, how sweet and precious for us to dwell together. Same father, different mother, yeah. It's like the dew on Mount Zion. Same father, different mother, yeah. Oh, how sweet and precious for us to dwell together. Same father, different mother, yeah. It's like the dew on Mount Zion. Same father, different mother, yeah. Oh, how sweet and precious for us to dwell together.
Same father, different mother, yeah.
It's like the dew on Mount Zion.
Same father, different mother, yeah. Oh, sweet and precious for us to dwell together. Same father, different mother, yeah. It's like the dew on Mount Zion. Same father, different mother, yeah.
All right. Shalom, 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 y'all. Shalom is Michael Israel, and you are watching Spiritual Combat. We have a great show for you today. And as we said in the intro, we're talking about biblical Black history. Inevitably, uh, if you type in, I'm actually doing it right now. If you type in Black history right now, and you just hit enter on Google, and what I'm doing is just going to Google Images, and what we'll do, I'll put it up here, and let's see the types of things that we get, okay? Because there's something interesting that happens when you do that. So you type it in, you got Black History Month. Inevitably, you're going to get Martin Luther King, Obama, stuff like that. You'll get different black athletes and other people that, you're taught about in school. Might get some Muhammad Ali in there, Nelson Mandela. Inevitably, that's what you get, okay? Um, The other thing that happens is, you know, when you're taught Black history, you got it starts out with American slavery, okay? And then, then you went through segregation. So what they have here, and prior to this, you were running around with a bone in your nose in Africa eating dust or something like that, eating dust cookies. You know what I'm saying? And then they captured you and they brought you over here. And then you spent 89 years fighting for your rights to be a human. And then in 2000, or ever since 1954, we've been free at last, free at last. Okay? And this is the typical history that you are taught. I can remember back in the day beginning to learn about Black history, and my first, or let's say so-called American Black history, as they teach it to us. But I remember there was a Martin Luther King book on our bookshelf. We had a bookshelf in our hallway, and I just looked through it, look at the pictures, and my mother would be like, "Man, that's what they did to us." And you saw dogs attacking us, them spraying us with water, and everything like that. And then, you know, soon after that, and soon after learning all that, and this is the chart. I don't know if I had that up there on the screen, but soon after learning all that stuff, uh, I began to see like little documentaries and stuff like that on television, and then what really hit me was Roots. Seeing the movie Roots. Now I don't know what they put up here. It's a trying to make a joke or something, but anyway, I saw the movie Roots, and after seeing that, it was, it's like, it's eye opening. You're like, what the heck? And you're trying to make sense of it, and you're mad, you're sad, you're upset. You're like, there got to be something more to it. That's what was in my spirit. And then inevitably, you go through, for me, I went through high school, junior high school, you know, even went in the military. And this is basically all you see and all you learn. Okay, you were a slave, and then they even after slavery, they still abuse you, and basically you were still a slave, just wearing different clothes, all the way up to modern day. You're still a slave, just wearing different clothes. Okay, and it leaves you with, you know, and then they like, then they come with, okay, it's Black History Month, and everybody's like, oh, we so happy we got our own month, the shortest month of the whole year. Oh, it's Black History Month, and it's like, okay, but there's still like, there has to be more. There has to be more to this. But what the information, the mainstream information that's spoon fed to us, for the most part, it goes back to about 1619, and prior to that, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what happened prior to that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, prior to 1619, we don't know what happened. We don't know what the case was. Y'all, prior to that, y'all running around playing in the dirt in Africa. with a bone in your nose and a plate in your lip. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. You almost hang your head like, shoot. And it leaves you, what it does, it leaves you with no other option but to envy your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And take part in his ways. Because you're like wondering, like, what the heck? Okay? But what we're going to do today is we're going to go through biblical black history. And we're going to bring it all the way up to modern day. When I say modern day, I'm not talking about 1950 free at last speech. And then after that, it got better and better. When it really didn't. It then got worse and worse. Okay? So we're going to go through this thing, man. We're going to kind of move. We're going to just kind of move through this and really get the meat off the bone, really break this stuff down, okay? And the first thing I want to tell people, let me see. The first thing before I get into this, because I know people is already like, you know, what people need to understand, there's two things that people need to understand that I see folks really wrestle with. And I'm going to make it real clear because, you know, you have some people who go to an extreme with, you know, you have a lot of people who came from the, they came from the, hold on one sec. Yeah, you have a lot of people who come from like a very militant mindset of, you know, black. It just black and us versus them and this, that, and the other. And that's not who I am. And that's not what this is. At the end of the day, it's just like the prayer I gave to the Most High Yah when he opened my eyes to this truth. I said, Yah, I said, I don't care where this truth takes me, I'ma go. And wherever it's led me, that is where I went. And it is take me, it's a lot of the stuff is just, whoa, really, you know, takes you on a totally different path than anything you conceived of. So I'm saying that to say, I'm not, you know, we're not on some blackety black y'all type stuff and all that stuff. Although we're going to show you that this word is about Israel, okay? But at no point in the word does it ever say other nations cannot join themselves to us and be a part of Israel, okay? So for all y'all blackety black y'all, that's not who I am. I'm not this dude here. This ain't me. Look, this dude.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black.
That's not me. Because when you, inevitably, when you come into this truth, and inevitably when you come into this understanding, there's a degree of anger that you have, and a lot of people stay stuck on that anger, and they never come into the true understanding of this book and of what Yah is trying to communicate to his nation, to his people Israel. So you're gonna see, we're gonna go right down the middle on this. We're not veering left, we ain't veering right, we ain't favoring nobody or nothing like that. It's just what it is. when you read this book, through the whole book, and it's almost mind-blowing to the degree that this whole book, the Most High ain't talking about nothing but Israel. And he said these other nations are like spit to him. Now I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, yo, the Most High said the other nations are like spit. Like, think about when you spit, once that spit is out of your mouth, you give less than a damn about it. Like, you don't even care. Think about how little you care about the spit. It hits the ground. Do you even give it a second thought? You know what I'm saying? The Most High referred to the other nations as like dogs. Like, it's like they're less than nothing to him. And he's about Israel. Okay? Again, though, nowhere in the word does it say that other nations cannot join themselves to Israel. Now, he gave the northern tribes of Israel a bill of divorce, and they were forbidden. But look at this. Let me show you something, because I want to establish this basis before we get into this. Look at this. This is in the New Testament. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte." Okay? And that is a person of another nation, convert them over. So even like that's in the New Testament, while Christ was walking, that was understood. It was common knowledge. You know, you had the war bride. You know, you could go on and on. Yeah, you could see from the very, that other nations, if and what it's about is a culture, but other nations can be a part of this thing. All right, somebody put your racism is totally limiting your Yah-given ability to see his full creation. Stop being dumbed down, y'all. Okay, let me know, Michael, if you talking to me or if you talking to somebody in there. Cause and let me tell you this, cause we getting ready to get into this thing, and we're gonna get the meat off the bone on this. When I'm done, if anybody, we have people coming in naysaying because they've been so thoroughly brainwashed with Christianity and Roman Catholicism. I'll bring you come straight on the show live, and we can, I will scripturally lacerate you with the word, so that we can see that the word is true, and we'll let the man be a liar. Okay, I got you. He said he not. So I got you. I figured that. All right, but let's get rolling with it, because I just want to establish that beforehand, and I'm gonna reiterate it as we move through this, because I know people gonna be tuning in as we move on. So what I wrote here is the people of this book can be easily identified by their prophesied condition. So when you read through this book, and a lot of y'all who are knowledgeable about this stuff, y'all know, y'all gonna see in this episode we have here, I don't have nearly all the scriptures talking about Israel, because Israel and the Most High talking about the nation of Israel and his people is the underlying theme, one of the main underlying themes through this whole book, because this book is written to Israel. Okay? All right. It's so what I said here is the people of this book, they can be identified. I don't get into all that. Oh, what color was Ruddy? And it says his hands were bronze, and and this was this color, and this probably looked like this, and this color thing. Even though that is in the book too, where you could see the color, where with the leprosy with Moses, and then his hand turned back. It's there, but there's a more solid, concrete way to identify what nation or race of people are the people of this book that this book is talking about today in this time. There's a concrete, irrefutable way to identify who's who and what's what. And we're going to see it right now. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to read Ezekiel. And the book of Ezekiel, we're going to read chapter 2. We're going to read through a couple scriptures. And it says Ezekiel chapter 2, I'm starting at verse 3, and it says, "And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee," this is the Most High, "I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day." So unto the day, this very day that he's writing this, or that he's dealing with this prophet, they still bucking and being rebellious. It says, "For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted." What the heck is stiff-hearted? That's a level of hard-headedness that will frustrate the Most High. You got to be extra frustrating if you're frustrating the Most High. It says, "I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house. Yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. Their briars and thorns be with thee, and thou doest dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house." Listen, we done only read 4 or 5 scriptures. Look how many times the Most High is sitting here telling them how rebellious this nation, this race of people are. Okay? "And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious." So what this is beginning to do is paint an identity of a group of people. Now, it's in no way a complete painting yet, but as we walk through this thing, you're going to see. "But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like the rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. And when I look, behold," and I'm not going to read the rest of that, but that's what I want to show you is you have a whole chapter in Ezekiel, and I think Ezekiel chapter 10 is another whole chapter where the Most High just literally going in on how stubborn and stiff-necked this nation is. Okay? So let's see what we have. So, like I said, when we're taught history, I'm going to go back through this. When we're taught history, this is what they're telling us, okay? They're telling us Okay, y'all were slaves, then y'all fought for your rights. Now it's all gravy. Okay? And then you see this. This is all that's taught to you in school. And this is what you see today. And then you're just sitting there scratching your head. But this is what the word says. Okay? So let's read this. We're going to read through these. It says Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So let's read Baruch chapter 4, verse 5 and 6. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you move God to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. Let's read 2 Chronicles chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 19. But if you turn away and forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other gods and worship them, which all you have to do is open that Bible and look in that Bible and read and see the last state of Israel, the condition they were in. This is what they were doing. They were worshiping, they were serving other gods. Okay? It says, then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land, which I have given them, and this house which I have sanctified for my name will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. I mean, do I need to go into all the proverbs and bywords they have for our people? I don't want to get my video blocked. I'll put it like that. Because trust me, I know them. I know some of them. They calling us spear chuckers, Sambo Coon, step and fetch. I don't want to say the N word. That might get me blocked. You could go on and on. I mean, you could go on and on. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 46. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee. And if you want to know what those curses were, just read, because again, I'm in Deuteronomy 28, 46. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me silent my equipment here. So, make sure nobody was saying anything about, okay, we're good. So, if you want to know what those curses are, again, read before Deuteronomy 45. I know I got 46 there, but I'm starting at 45. So Deuteronomy 28:45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Okay? And it said they're going to be on you for a sign. So they're going to be for a sign and for a wonder. So it's going to be a sign that people can be like, what the hell? Like, they can't get nothing right. Like, those people are a mess. They just don't hire. They just, you know what I'm saying? And people are in wonderment, like, and listen, I'm gonna show y'all some stuff that's going on right now, modern day, that it's gonna have you in wonder, like, damn, like these people are like wise to do evil. Okay? So we're gonna see that. So going back real fast to we're gonna go back real quick to this little graph I put up here where it says the 1619. And then prior to 1619, everybody's stupid. Everybody's stuck on stupid and they befuddled. You know what I'm saying? Nobody, well, we don't know. You'd run around in Africa, chasing lions and zebras, and nobody know what happened. Or all of a sudden, can't nobody tell these big ass libraries and they sitting there telling you Paleolithic caveman ate this and he used to make this and he used to run around the caves and they know everything, but all of a sudden you mean to tell me you don't know? You sitting here telling me how the universe was formed, and you tell me you don't know where I came from prior to 1619? Come on, man. If y'all had bigger heads, y'all be bigger dummies. Okay? So check this out. We know. So what happened in 70 AD, after Rome sacked Jerusalem, to which Christ prophesied, and that's a whole nother show on all that. I'm not going to go into all that right now in detail, the Sermon on the Mount and all that, because that's a very interesting thing that has been, a lot of people are heavily brainwashed from Christianity when they look at that. Because when you're not the people of the book, you can't understand the book. You can only see it from your perspective. And if you've never been through tribulation, you're going to think the tribulation is coming because your life, your history, your lineage has just been great and amazing. So how can you understand what tribulation is and what's being said there? But we're not going into all that. So anyway, after 70 AD, we ceased to exist as a nation. The armies of Rome destroyed everything we had where we could be considered and call ourselves a nation. They destroyed our records. If you look at the Ark of Titus in Rome, let me pull that up for y'all real quick. I'll get it up here quick. Ark of Titus. All right. So this is the Ark of Titus in Rome. Okay? I'm going to put it up here. Y'all bear with me. Okay, this is the Ark of Titus. Okay? And if you look closely at it, if you could see, whoops. Yeah, that'll be better. Let me I'm gonna make a big picture of it. Open a new tab. Okay. There we go. This is a nice big one y'all be able to see. If you look at this Ark of Titus, what the Romans would do after they conquered a nation, they would build an ark. And look at what they're carrying away. They're carrying away all of our stuff, carrying it to Rome. It's sitting right under that wicked ass Pope's Vatican, is in the Vatican Library. Right at underground library. All of our stuff sitting over there. Okay? But that's the Ark of Titus. And that is when we ceased to be a nation. And we were a dark-skinned people, so majority of us fled down into Africa. You see, somebody put in there, yep, Spanish Inquisition is deep and documented. That the thing they called the Spanish Inquisition, that was us. They were persecuting us. That Roman church was trying to eradicate the people of the book and take their identity. And we're gonna get after that. Now, we're not gonna go into this Spanish Inquisition Brother Bernard, we're not going to go into all that, but that was something I considered putting in here, but for the sake of time, I did it this way. But anyway, we fled into Africa. Okay. Um, if you do your research, they have the places we migrated to. If you read about the Limba tribe, they have an oral passed down history on their migration down in Africa. If you do some deep studying about the Limba tribe, that they're a little bit north of South Africa down there. And if you do some studying about them, you know, they talk about how those other tribes knew that they weren't African. They knew that they were Hamitic, or they knew that they were Shemitic, not Hamitic. Okay. But anyway, after we fled into Africa, the Arab slave trade started. We were in the Arab slave trade. I don't have the dates. I didn't put that in there. I'm just letting you know that soon after we went into Africa, we became slaves to the Arabs. And we were in the Arab slave trade, which was a very brutal slavery that we were in. And then soon after that, I think it was after the Crusades or whatever they call it, where, you know, the Europeans came down there and took over Alexandria, took all their stuff, beat them down, whatever. And soon after that, a papal bull was issued. Okay, let's get to that. Okay, they issued a papal bull. A papal bull is basically a decree handed out by the Pope. So an order handed out by the Pope to all the nations that are subject to the rulership of the mother of harlots, the Roman Catholic beast system church. So Dumdursa was the name of the papal bull that was handed out in 1452. And we're going to read about it real quick. It says, I knew that the Catholic Church via the Pope had authorized slavery in the 1400s, but I didn't know that they had authorized their eradication, subjugation of African people. Somehow I never connected the two. So basically, in a nutshell, you do your own research. What Dumdursa was the Catholic Church said any dark races you come upon, you can make them your slaves and take their land. And that is what started the so-called Age of Discovery, and that's what also started the slave trade. Okay, it was initiated by the mother of harlots. Okay, so check this out. It gets deeper. Black history, baby. We getting it. Hold on. Check this out. So that's a picture of the slave trade. Now, there's a book written, and some of y'all, oh, the Nation of Islam. Listen, while these people don't have, the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, and everything, clearly they don't have the answer. But when it comes to research and doing your due diligence and backing it up in a scholarly fashion, well, they did it with this thing right here. And this is the secret relationship between blacks and Jews, okay? And I can't say that word too many times back to back, or the algorithms will flag my video. So that's how terrible this stuff is, okay? But anyway, in this book, it outlines how how the amount of control and how the level of involvement they had in the slave trade, financially, financing stuff, killing it. The puppet masters behind the scenes. Okay, and when you hear that, it makes you think of Psalms chapter 83, verse 3 through 5. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Okay? We were hiding. We were scattered. Okay? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Confederate means joined by an agreement or treaty. Okay? Put big old fact, put a 10 in there if that's big old facts, y'all. If y'all smell what the mic is cooking over here. All right? And we're gonna press on. We're gonna move forward. So, as you know, we went into slavery, and listen, y'all, when it comes to the Civil War and all that, because I'm skipping over all that, and the Revolutionary War, all that stuff like that, and the Emancipation Proclamation, all that stuff. I'm skipping through all that. We're gonna move forward a little bit, okay? But as you know, what you're gonna see in what I'm saying is levels of enslavement, okay, that get worse. But again, Satan is a smooth deceiver, so a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of times Satan cranks the heat up slowly so you don't realize the water's boiling. Okay? So check this out. We're gonna fast forward some more. So after slavery happened, you had Jim Crow, okay, and all that stuff, all these laws they put on us because when we got out of slavery, we still had an identity of who we were. And when we got out, people were working, getting after it, and what America feared was that we would become a nation and surpass them. And it was happening, okay? One area in particular, I got this, is Black excellence personified, remembering Black Wall Street. If y'all know about Black Wall Street, it was a city, a town of black people, black business, bliggity black, y'all, everything. You know what I'm saying? And why it says remembering Black Wall Street is because the nations that we are in captivity to leveled it. They destroyed it. What did it say in Deuteronomy? It said, let me see if I get this up. It says, moreover, these curses will come upon thee. But listen, let's take Black Wall Street. Everybody like, but we was doing it, man. We was up there. We was getting it. No, because Yah said that these curses shall pursue thee. So y'all had got a little ahead of the curses and put Black Wall Street together, and then the curses pursued thee and overtook thee, and that was a wrap. And now they're talking about remembering Black Wall Street. It's just a memory. And why? Because we are still not, we were, even in Black Wall Street. This is why nothing we do will be blessed until we come back to our Yah. But all's Black Wall Street was envying thou oppressor. We were envying the oppressor. And the word says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Not some. Oh, no, we're going to choose his ways, but we're going to make it black. Blickety black, black, y'all, and all that. No. It said choose none of his ways. It said be obedient to the Most High Yah. Okay? But check this out. We're going to keep it moving. All right? Let me see. Okay. So, moving forward, then we come to the civil rights movement. And when we hear, type in it, what person do you think of when you hear the civil rights movement? Y'all type it in there real fast. Somebody get it in there quick for me. What person do you think of when you hear civil rights movement? Okay. Who do you think of? Who comes to mind? There you go. Thank you. Somebody got in there, they said MLK. Okay. Martin Luther King. That's who comes to mind. And that means that your brainwashing from your oppressor has succeeded. Okay? Because what people don't understand what was really going on, and how Martin Luther King got put into the forefront. Because the reality was, the March on Washington, Martin Luther King wasn't behind that. We're gonna play a video here with Malcolm X. He's gonna be breaking down what actually happened and how that all came about. But just to sum it up, the March on Wall Street initially was brought up among the people. The people came up with that, and they were going to march out there, and they said they were going to grind Washington, D.C. to a halt. And they said they're going to lay in the run on the airport runway if they had to. They were just going to walk up to Washington, D.C., all the black folks, and just stand in the streets and grind it to a halt. Now, when the oppressors that we're in captivity under got wind of that, being the snakes they are, they went and they got the biggest name so-called civil rights leaders that they could think of at the time. And I think what he says in this video is there's about 6 of them. And they got them all and had a meeting with them. And just, we're going to go through this. I'm going to walk you through this whole thing. You're going to see how low down, dirty, and destructive. You're going to see the crafty council in full phys ed. All right? So check out this video.
Is the method that the white man uses, how the white man uses these big guns or Negro leaders against the black revolution. They're not a part of the black revolution. They're used against the black revolution. When Martin Luther King failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia, the civil rights struggle in America reached its low point. King became bankrupt almost as a leader. Plus, even financially, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was in financial trouble, plus it was in trouble, period, with the people when they failed to desegregate Albany, Georgia. Other Negro civil rights leaders of so-called national stature became fallen idols. As they became fallen idols, began to lose their prestige and influence, local Negro leaders began to stir up the masses. In Cambridge, Maryland, Gloria Richardson. In Danville, Virginia, and other parts of the country, local leaders begin to stir up our people at the grassroots level. This was never done by these Negroes whom you recognize of national stature. They controlled you, but they never incited you or excited you. They controlled you. They contained you. They kept you on the plantation. As soon as King failed in Birmingham, Negroes took to the streets. King got out and went out to California to a big rally and raised about, I don't know how many thousands of dollars. Come to Detroit and had a march and raised some more thousands of dollars. And recall, right after that, Wilkins attacked King, accused King and the Corps of starting trouble everywhere and then making the NAACP get him out of jail and spend a lot of money, and then he accused King and Corps of raising all the money and not paying it back. This happened. I got it in documented evidence in the newspaper. Roy started attacking King, and King started attacking Roy, and farmers started attacking both of them. And as these Negroes of national stature begin to attack each other, they begin to lose their control of the Negro masses. And Negroes was out there in the streets. They was talking about, we're going to march on Washington. By the way, and right at that time, Birmingham had exploded, and the Negroes in Birmingham, remember, they also exploded. They began to stab the crackers in the back and bust them upside the head. Yes, they did. That's when Kennedy sent in the troops down in Birmingham. So, and right after that, Kennedy got on the television and said, this is a moral issue. That's when he said he's going to put out a civil rights bill. And when he mentioned civil rights bill and the Southern crackers started talking about they were going to boycott it or filibuster it, then the Negroes started talking about what? We're going to march on Washington, march on the Senate, march on the White House, march on the Congress, and tie it up, bring it to a halt. Don't let the government proceed. They even said they was going to go out to the airport and lay down on the runway and don't let no airplanes land. I'm telling you what they said. That was revolution. That was revolution. That was the black revolution. It was the grassroots out there in the street. Scared the white man to death. Scared the white power structure in Washington, D.C. to death. I was there. When they found out that this black steamroller was going to come down on the Capitol, they called in Wilkins. They called in Randolph. They called in these national Negro leaders that you respect and told them, call it off. Kennedy said, look, you all letting this thing go too far. And old Tom said, boss, I can't stop it because I didn't start it. I'm telling you what they said. They said, I'm not even in it, much less at the head of it. They said, these Negroes are doing things on their own. They're running ahead of us. And that old shrewd fox, he said, well, if you all aren't in it, I'll put you in it. I'll put you at the head of it. I'll endorse it. I'll welcome it. I'll help it. I'll join it. A matter of hours went by. They had a meeting at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City. The Carlisle Hotel is owned by the Kennedy family. That's the hotel Kennedy spent the night at 2 nights ago. Belongs to his family. A philanthropic society headed by a white man named Stephen Currier called all the top civil rights leaders together at the Carlisle Hotel and told them that by you all fighting each other, you're destroying the civil rights movement. And since you're fighting over money from white liberals, let us set up what's known as the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership. Let's form this council, and all the civil rights organizations will belong to it. And we'll use it for fundraising purposes. Let me show you how tricky the white man is. And as soon as they got it formed, they elected Whitney Young as the chairman. And who you think became the co-chairman? Stephen Currier, the white man. A millionaire. Powell was talking about it down at the Cobo today. This is what he was talking about. Powell knows it happened. Randolph knows it happened. Wilkins knows it happened. King knows it happened. Every one of that so-called Big Six. They know what happened. Once they formed it, with the white man over it, he promised them and gave them $800,000 to split up between the Big Six, and told them that after the march was over, they'd give them $700,000 more. $1.5 million split up between leaders that you've been following, going to jail for, crying crocodile tears for, and they've nothing but Frank James and Jesse James and brothers. Soon as they got the setup organized, the white men made available to them top public relations experts, opened the news media across the country at their disposal. And then they begin to project these big six as the leaders of the march. Originally, they weren't even in the march. You was talking this march talk on Hastings Street. Is Hastings Street still here? On Hastings Street. You was talking the march talk on Lenox Avenue. And down on, Fillmore Street. And Central Avenue. And 42nd Street and 63rd Street. That's where the march talk was being talked. But the white man put the big six ahead of it, made them the march. They became the march. They took it over. And the first move they made after they took it over, they invited Walter Reuther, a white man. They invited a priest, a rabbi, and an old white preacher. Yes, an old white preacher.
So what he's saying, basically what happened is they were going to march and they basically hijacked the march. And there's other videos you can watch on how they formed this organization with Martin Luther King, but it was funded and controlled by the powers that be. And basically they diluted the march. So that when the people, when they finally did march up there, they already had all these signs printed out already. And they started handing those signs out to everybody. And the whole purpose of the civil rights turned from equal rights to integration and everything like that. Okay? And so Martin Luther King was just a clueless Christian. Didn't know what the hell he was doing. I'm going to prove that. And Malcolm X, because he wasn't educated under the conventional brainwashing system, he understood exactly what was going on. But again, he not following after the Most High Yah. So his wicked ass went off too. He bugged out too. And I'm going to show you that too. You can't make this stuff up. Okay? So check this out. Let me give you the evidence. Check this out. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. Now listen to this video because, okay, when you think of Martin Luther King, it's like black men and white men, children and this, all that. And the speeches that you hear, the sound bites that you hear of Martin Luther King are all early on in his in the civil rights movement, whatever you want to call it. Because right near the end of his life, that last year or so, he was becoming militant. He told everybody to pull all your money out of their banks. He said, put the money in black banks. We need our own stuff. Okay? We're going to go into all that. So check out this video. This is pretty, we ain't going to play this too long, but.
I don't see the answer to our problem in riots. So my slogan is not burn, baby, burn. My slogan is build, baby, build. Organize, baby, organize. Learn, baby, learn so that you can earn, baby, earn. That's my slogan.
He said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man.
So, in that video there, that wasn't the best one, but you could see his mindset was beginning to turn. And towards the end of his life, him and Malcolm X were beginning to talk. Okay? But now check this out. a lot of y'all, I'm sure a lot of y'all heard about this. Let me put this up here. Okay. All right.
I don't see the answer to our
Okay. So he told Harry Belafonte, this is what he told Harry Belafonte. He said, I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house. I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house. Belafonte added, that statement took me aback. It was the last thing I would have expected to hear, considering the nature of the struggle. Belafonte said he asked King, what should we do? And King replied that we should become firemen. King said, let us not stand by and let this house burn. So when Martin Luther King realized, and you can hear this if you listen to his later speeches, he realized they had manipulated him because they're snakes. And what these people do, they have these things called think tanks. They get real smart people to come up with solutions to issues. And what their solution was let's integrate the black people with our society and suck all the money out of their communities. And because of Martin Luther King, black businesses began just disappearing because they had used those black leaders to brainwash the people into thinking that they needed to have what the other nations have. They brainwash these black leaders into convincing the people to envy their oppressors. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's wickedness. Now on top of that, this nonviolence movement, again, these people are going after other gods and other nations. What did Deuteronomy say, or what did that verse say? Serving other gods, both wood and stone. Took inspiration, well, it got cut off here, but it said Dr. Martin Luther King took inspiration from Gandhi on nonviolence. If you want to go read the article yourself, it's on the biography website. And it says the civil rights leader realized the power of Gandhi's approach to standing up to oppression with truth force. Again, we're going after other nations. It's an abomination. It's against what the Most High Yah said. But look, Malcolm X ain't no better. As y'all know, Malcolm X eventually turned from the Nation of Islam and went into true Islam. He went over there to the Arabs. Weren't we in an Arab slave trade years ago? You see what I'm saying? And again, it brings a particular scripture to mind. Okay? Let me put it up there because I don't think y'all saw it. So see, that's Malcolm X over there. And again, he went to Mecca and he realized, oh, Muslims aren't just black, it's all people. And he went off into this whole other thing. But again, he understood what was going on, but he didn't have the answer. Why? Because he wasn't serving. He's serving other Elohims, other gods, not Elohim. All right. So now check this out. This is the scripture that brings to mind. Isaiah 3, verse 12. Okay. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And people can confirm, man, after them civil rights movements, black businesses ceased to exist. Okay. Now, what I put here, my little note here is civil rights laws. So the laws that were enacted for civil rights, because after civil rights happened, after Martin Luther King was assassinated, after Malcolm X was assassinated, they passed the laws for civil rights to where black or minorities could have the same opportunity as, white people and everything like that. But what they did is they gave those rights and those benefits to other nations. Like, for instance, to the Koreans. You see how Koreans can come and they can open up a hair store or open up some type of store in where? In a black neighborhood. Like, you go to a black neighborhood and all the businesses are owned by other nations and minorities. Like the convenience stores and you name it. Y'all name the business, And you're like, how do these nations do it? Well, they're getting grants and federal money and these doors open for them that Martin Luther King and them were supposedly fighting for you to have, but they gave them over to another nation. Somebody, y'all, there's a Bible verse on that. If somebody could find it, post it in here. Okay? All right? We're going to keep moving forward, though. So now we're moving forward a little more. And after Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, after they passed, they implemented COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO. Counterintelligence Program. You can go look that up. For those of you who don't know what it is, I assume everybody knows what it is, but basically, J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the CIA, a very wicked, person, implemented a program. It's called Counterintelligence Program. And this program, what they did is they studied us. They studied our music. They would have CIA agents in bars, in jazz lounges, reading all of our magazines that we have. They studied us as a people, every aspect of us, what we eat, how we move, everything. And they were just studying everything about how we operate. And the state here, as you see up on the screen, we're going to read the stated purposes, and we're going to read about this program a little bit. Edgar Hoover declared the Black Panther Party without question represented the greatest threat to internal security of the country. He pledged that 1969 would be the last year of the party's existence. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover issued directives governing COINTELPRO, ordering FBI agents to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or otherwise neutralize the activities of these movements and especially their leaders. J. Edgar Hoover himself had to say that it was not the guns that were the greatest threat to international security of the United States of America. Listen to this, y'all. It was not the guns. It was the free children's breakfast program that was the greatest threat to the international security of the United States of America. Now, one of the stated goals of the COINTEL program was to, listen to this, prevent the rise of a black messiah that could unify the dark races or the black race in America or whatever. Okay? The reason the breakfast program was such a threat is because they didn't want us to be able to provide for ourselves. In fact, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Lopez, post the whole scripture in there, because I'm not going to look it up. Just post it in there and I'll read it. correct me if I'm wrong, the welfare program was developed from what the Black Panthers were doing with the breakfast program. But again, the Black Panthers program wasn't following the word, wasn't in alignment with Yah's word, and the curses chased it down, and it failed. It got overrun with drugs and all types of stuff like that, and the program failed. Okay? So, moving forward, COINTELPRO, after the Black Panther program went down the drain, COINTELPRO, they put the program to bed, but then they opened some other program. And I have to go read because I read a little about it a while back. I studied about it a while back and I kind of forgot. But anyway, what they had done is studied us and understood us. It's like a predator studies its prey. It's just sitting there watching it, and it's crawling the waters, it's studying its prey and watching what it does before it attacks. So that moving us forward to the 80s. And Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, some wicked ass devils. Okay? So check this out. This is a conversation between Reagan and Nixon. And Reagan's on the phone and he says, "Last night I tell you to watch that thing on television as I did." And then Richard Nixon said, "Yes." And then Ronald Reagan said, "To see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them. They're still uncomfortable wearing shoes." So there's a lot of recently released, phone recordings of Reagan. Of course, the statute of limitations or whatever on this stuff runs out, and then they put it out after they're long dead and gone, and that ready to go straight to a burning hell for the things they did. Then they put it all out. But now we're getting more in the current history. I lived through this stuff here. So what we're going to talk about now, a lot of y'all might know about it, is the Iran-Contra affair. Okay? And look at these wicked devils that was involved in it, okay? You got Reagan, you got Bush Sr., and you also have, this is Mena Airport in Arkansas, okay? And at the time, Billy Clampett was over Arkansas. Bill Clinton, okay? And so this is what happened. Let me get this on me so y'all can understand this. It was called the Iran-Contra affair, okay? And basically what happened was Iran, I forget what was going on with Iran. I think we had sold Iran a whole bunch of guns or gave them a whole bunch of guns or something like that. Okay? So with the Iran-Contra affair, the Contras were in, I think it was in Argentina or one of those South American countries. And they were a revolution group. And America was backing the Contras because we wanted to get them to overturn their communist government so we could put a puppet government that would be obedient to our will over there. So long and short, America was backing the Contras. So, in order to get them weapons, what happened, the Senate or whoever, Congress, passed some bill saying we couldn't sell them weapons. They said you cannot sell, America cannot get involved over there. We cannot sell the Contras weapons. So what these devils did is they bought weapons from, because what we want to do is either give them the weapons or give them the money to buy weapons. But again, they had passed this thing where the American government could not give a rebel organization money to buy weapons. So what we did is we bought cocaine from them. We told them, give us all this cocaine, okay? Boom, 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 boom. And the CIA flew the cocaine in to Nina Airport under that guy, McNamara, whatever. I forget that guy's name is. This guy who has his hand raised, taking an oath, another wicked ass devil. So he had them fly the cocaine in to Mena Airport in Arkansas under Bill, which Arkansas was under Bill Clinton at the time, okay? Bill Clinton turned a blind eye to it. They flew all that cocaine in, and the CIA fueled the cocaine crack epidemic. They flew all that cocaine in. Once they sold it all, they took all that money and gave it to the Contras. In return, the Contras took that money and bought weapons from Iran with it to fund their revolution against the government. Okay? So, what they would do is fly all that cocaine into the airport, and mind you, they got a recipe from the Contras for crack, and they went over into LA and they showed the CIA somehow orchestrated people to learn how to cook up crack in LA. They taught people how to do it over in LA. So they would fly this stuff into the airport and they would split it. Some of it would go to the West Coast. Some of it would go to the East Coast, go to Miami. And the woman it would all go to was this lady Griselda. In fact, they're coming out with or they have it out, a series about it now. Where it's like a series they have, okay? But the portion that would go over to the West Coast would go over to this dude right here. That dude on top. That's Freeway Rick Ross. Both of those pictures. One when he was young and he had got locked up. The other when he was older. He's still alive. And you could just type in, not Rick Ross, the fat, dark-skinned rapper, but type Freeway Ricky Ross. He'll tell the whole story. So all that cocaine will go over to this dude. And he was the biggest drug kingpin on the East Coast, and I think ever. Because he was making like $1 million a day or more. It was insane. And he literally he was like the father of the crack epidemic, killing his people. But the CIA fueled the crack epidemic. Now, on the East Coast, this is the Griselda lady on the left. The lady on the right is the lady who's playing her in this movie this series that's coming out. Okay? And okay, so that's what happened. And that's how, in the early 80s, the crack epidemic started. Okay? And then you had demonic ass witch, Nancy Reagan, who practiced occult. She was in the occult. You can go look that up. Nancy Reagan, occult practice. She was into all types of satanic, whatever, occult stuff. But at the same time, she launched the Just Say No campaign while they pumping crack in these black communities. They telling all the white children, just say no. Because she looked like a goddamn poodle. So if you a young black man, you like, what the hell is she talking about? But in the meantime, they're pumping this stuff in black neighborhoods. And anybody in here, any black person watching this show now has stories of how crack ravaged their family. I know I do. Okay? You got some uncle or some person back when in the 80s where it hit them hard and where it tore families up. But that whole epidemic was fueled by these devils trying to destroy a nation. Okay? So what happened, that crack just ravaged the 80s, and I mean, it run amok in the 80s, okay? And like I said, I got stories. I got stories of people that is no joke, man. It's sad. Them people dead and gone because sorcery, that's what crack is. It's sorcery. You hit that stuff, and it immediately opens you up to demonic possession of demons of addiction and who knows what else. Okay? So they pump that sorcery into and like I said, y'all, there's so many movies about this whole Iran-Contra affair and like, what's that dude's name? Steve Webb, or the reporter. There's a reporter who broke this story. He's the one who discovered the connection with all this stuff. And because Freeway Rick Ross didn't realize he was buying crack from the CIA. He didn't know until this dude, and then they when they busted him, they locked him up. But of course, if you do that much work at destroying your people, oh, they're gonna reward you. That's a free man today. Freeway Rick Ross is free. He's out there. But he's telling his story. He's singing. And it makes you wonder. This is why I don't get caught up in politics and these stupid ass, wicked ass, demonic ass people that run this nation. I don't get caught up in that crap. Because listen, once the statute of limitations wear out, you find out how these people were trying to kill you off. Every single time. Every time. Like, everybody thought Reagan was so great and all that, and here he is, man. These people, man, come on now. Make it make sense. Moving forward. So by the time we had got through the 80s, it had destroyed so much. And hip hop was birthed in that time. But it had destroyed so much, and then hip hop was beginning to become a channel of all that. And towards the end of the 80s, in the early 90s, hip hop was getting real militant. You had, Public Enemy. You had them other people. I forget what his name is. They were like, with a C in it, sissy. It'd be like that. I forget what they were called. But it was getting real military. I remember people used to wear third eyes. Like my brother, he was in middle school. He'd wear a third eye to middle school. Third eye is just that pendant, and it got Africa on it. And we were just trying to get back to our culture. Malcolm X, a lot of rappers were putting snippets from Malcolm X in there. in this song, and the hip hop was getting militant. Okay, and that's why, you know, that video I played earlier, I'm gonna play it again real quick. Like, this is how it was for real. Like, Moses rapping like this.
Black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black.
I mean, it was literally like that. I mean, dude, everybody be wearing like African colors and like the red, the black, and the green. That's what this one group would be saying. The red, the black. Or he's like, the red, the yellow, and the green. Sissy. That's what this one group would say. And they talking all this militant stuff. And it's like, are people trying to find their way? Now, what was interesting, in the late 80s and early 90s, a ton of Hebrew Israelite rappers were coming in to the hip hop scene. In fact, we used to, me and my brother, now we didn't know where the word came from. We lived up there near New York, and at the time, New York was like the epicenter of hip hop. Like, whatever New York was doing, that's what the hip hop community was doing. Whatever LA was doing, LA was beginning to come on the scene. But New York dominated the hip hop scene, and hip hop was coming on. So anyway, I remember every couple months a new word would come out that my brother would come home saying. Like, he'd come home saying, yo, if something's nice, man, you say that's fresh. And then a couple months later, he's like, hey, if you like something fresh is played out, you say that's hype. And then I remember one time he came on, he's like, hey, man, you say, instead of saying what's up, boy, you say what's up, Ak. You say what's up, Ak. And, you know, with the Hebrew Israelite groups, that Ak is brother, okay, in the Hebrew Israelite, whatever. So, but with that said, a lot of people coming into the hip hop were Hebrew Israelite, and they were rapping about it too. Dougie Fresh was a Hebrew Israelite, is a Hebrew, like, he knows about all that. And that was beginning to creep into the hip hop, okay? And then gangster rap began to happen, which that was birthed from NWA over there, okay? It kind of, because at the time, and there's, you know, y'all can watch videos of that, but at the time, NWA and Eric B. and Rakim, I think, kind of initially sparked it, but NWA took it to another level, and then some people began to fund it. And mind you, back then, hip-hop, other nations hated that music. They couldn't stand it. They wouldn't even recognize it in the awards, you know, in the music awards or nothing. Like, they did not like it. And it was ours, and we liked it. Now, we're gonna get into some heavy stuff now. So check this out. A lot of y'all might have seen this, but check this out. Let me see. All right. All right, hold on. All right. I don't know if y'all seen this letter. It's the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Okay? Now what I'm going to do, Crazy Bone is going to read this from, it's another video I got here. That dude from Bones, Thugs, and Harmony, of all people, because Bones, Thugs, and Harmony were birthed from NWA. Eazy-E kind of put them out there. Okay? So check this out. This is good. So that letter what I just put up here, see this? The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation was a letter that was posted online. And the person who wrote it wanted to be anonymous. But listen to this. All right.
The letter is the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell a story.
we gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not explaining.
Look, that black van.
So look, so he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, G.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No,
For real, though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague who opened up the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting.
Damn.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And, no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
So you got that. Now check this out. Hold on, y'all. All right, so check this out. This is gonna fast forward. So check this out.
Types of black and brown people depicted in hip-hop music? What if I told you that some of the biggest music companies are in cahoots with private prison owners, and that the rap music we listen to is not only meant to entertain, but to verbally and visually support criminal behaviors that funnel disenfranchised people into these private prisons? Lastly, what if I told you I have proof? In 2012, Core Civic, formerly known as Corrections Corporation of America, the biggest name in the private prison industry, contacted 48 states offering to buy their prisons. One requirement of eligibility for the deal was particularly strange: an assurance by the agency partner that the agency has sufficient inmate population to maintain a minimum 90% occupancy rate over the term of the contract. Wait, drag it? What? What kind of legal and ethical measures could be taken to ensure the maintenance of a 90% prison occupancy rate? Now let's work together to connect these things. I'm sure you're a smart person. It won't be long. Let's do the work. In 2012, a mere 232 media executives were responsible for the intake of 277 million Americans, controlling all avenues necessary to manufacture any celebrity and spark any trend. Time Warner, as the owner of Warner Brothers Records, can not only sign an artist, but since they're also owners of Entertainment Weekly, they can also put an artist on the cover by next week. You think you choose what you listen to, but do you? Both BET and MTV belong to Viacom. Okay, now I know that's not news to some, but when the use of these media conglomerates is cross-checked with ownership of the biggest names in prison privatization, it's starting to get a little fishy. The largest holder in CoreCivic, formerly Corrections Corp of America, is Vanguard Group Incorporated. Vanguard is the #1 largest holder in both Viacom and Time Warner. Vanguard is also the largest holder in the GEO Group, the second largest owner of private prisons in the U.S. The overlap in private prison / mass media ownership is disturbing. Let's make this clear. The people who own the media are the same people who own private prisons, the exact same people. They make money from getting so-and-so from the hood to glorify the life they live, and they don't care about the impact it has on others because money is the motive. Then when the music influences others in criminal behavior, they make money from all the impressionable low-income people of color that are expected to go inside their private prisons. You can research these companies yourself, by the way, it's not hidden. Now, if you want to take action and stop motivated racist schemes like this from happening, we need to create a platform where the real culture of hip-hop can flourish. Hip-hop for change.
So that's more backing up what hold on. There we go. What was just said. And and now I played this. Y'all seen this before. Here's a more boots on the ground.
About what he said.
Listen.
What God said.
Ever wonder why you see the same
hold on. Y'all hold on. All right. That is the wrong video. So let me get my slides back in order. Y'all just give me a sec. We're moving through it. Oh man. Okay, so you see what they do. You can kind of see the clear agenda. You know what I'm saying? To where, and we're gonna keep going. I'll bring it out, but it's funny. Like when you talk to people now, like if you talk to a lot of young black men, the only thing they strip their parents away from them, and the only thing they idolize or their only ambitions that they set in front of young black boys and girls, if you talk to them, they want to be in some type of entertainment. They either want to be a rapper or play sports. And literally that's it. No other ambition. That's, I'm going to be a rapper, I'm going to play sports. That's it. Some type of entertainer. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, these are the people they set in front of them. These are a lot of rappers in the 80s when this whole gangster rap thing came online, man, and it was strong. It had a powerful influence on me. Okay? And then move forward. We're going to move forward. We're going to move a little faster because we're getting ready to wrap up. But we move forward to more modern time. And Obama. And I mean, I lived through that whole election, and it was, man, the level of brainwashing it did on our people was astronomical. And he got in there and he pushed a satanic death agenda. All he pushed was abortion and being a gayfer. That's it. Like, he pushed that stuff, and I mean, he single-handedly completely changed the whole landscape of the black community. You see what I'm saying? Let's go here real quick. These are some of the statistics. It said Black women account for 38% of all U.S. abortions, even though black Americans make up just 12% of the U.S. population. On average, more than 900 black babies are aborted every day in our country. And that was back a couple of years ago. Now, I'm sure it's not quite as bad because they rescinded that law, that Roe versus Wade, but it's still something to take note of. And it goes back to this, the leaders that they put in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So the music now, where rap music is at now, it is just straight up atrocious. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all something disturbing, or I'm gonna tell y'all something disturbing. And there's a rap artist, a female rap artist. Her name's Sexy Red, and she came out with lip gloss, and they wrote here, Sexy Red lip gloss flavors to be named after STDs. So she came out with a lip gloss brands, and they're named after STDs. And other lewd acts that I wouldn't say on this show, but they let it's the some of the names that I can say that aren't too bad for this show are, let me see. One of them is called Yellow Discharge. Another one is called Gonorrhea. And then the other ones are just, I can't even, like I said, I can't say it on here. And I mean, to see where hip hop's at, it's like, wow. Like, and how, the way I'm looking at it is from a cultural perspective. Because, okay, I go over and I looked at people from India, the Indians from India, and they're aspiring to be engineers and doctors and computer programmers, and that's their culture, and they're about their culture. Women are in their place, and women ain't out there doing this stuff. And then you go look at the Chinese culture, and they got their culture and the things they're aspiring to be, and they're working together. Whew. Then you look at our culture, and we've literally created a whole music and a whole satanic culture based on glorying in our shame, because we are trying to envy our oppressor and choose his ways. And it can't go well for you. Okay? Check this out. So, in a nutshell, what they did, check this out. I won't say it, I'll just show it. Hold on. So check this article out somebody had posted. I don't know who posted it, but it says, our greatest power over blacks is that we control everything they believe. We control their education, their news, media, their entertainment, all their statistics, and even their image of themselves. This, therefore, allows us to inundate blacks with disinformation designed to instill the myth of white supremacy or superiority and black self-hatred into their minds. It's a psychological warfare program used for protecting our white dominance, or so they think, or so whoever wrote that thinks. But let's see what the Most High says. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45, it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. And what I would move to say, back when we got out of slavery, those curses were pursuing us. When we went through civil rights, they were pursuing us. But as we moved into the 80s, they began to overtake us. And I would move to say, if you go out there and look at the so-called Black African American culture today, it is destroyed. I'm going to show you where the slavery is at now. The slavery, I don't know what I just did there. The slavery is here now. It's mental. And we got to free our minds from this slavery because, again, it said that verse said that these curses will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder. And what other nation can you see out there? I agree. Somebody said Hispanics too. I agree. I agree with you on that. What other nations can you see out there that are destroyed on this level? If you do see them, that is a sign and a wonder for who the people of the book are today. And you might say, Michael, you just getting all that off one scripture. Okay, check this out. We read, let's hit Baruch again. We're going to hit that Baruch, and then we're going to go to something else. For I know that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. So it's saying we are stubborn, stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves and shall know that I am the Lord their God. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. Okay? But let's keep it moving. There's more. Y'all know I got to read that Baruch. Or I'm sorry, y'all know I got to hit that Wisdom of Solomon. That's my jam there. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting at verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have affected him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot amongst the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. So when you look at some of this stuff, and you could even see in the comments that there are brothers and sisters in here who know more than what I put out on here, because there's way more. I just had to condense this so we could rush through it for this show. But you can see again, through the conditions. You know what I'm saying? The conditions are what identify who's who and what's what. And like what I said at the beginning, the people of this book can be easily identified by their prophesied condition. It's like no, and when I'm saying the people, I'm talking about as nations. And when I say nation, I mean races. So races of people, where you have all nations have impoverished people, but our whole nation is impoverished. And we have a couple people that are kind of successful, and majority of them are used to impoverish, keep the rest of the people impoverished or destroyed. You know what I'm saying? So now, where are we at? What's next? What's coming? Well, more of the continued brainwashing, but I want to show you something disturbing that I came across recently. Some of y'all saw it pop up there. And that's this. It's called geoengineering. You can go look it up. And there's a good documentary. It's called Geoengineering Dimming. Excuse me, dimming. Like dimming a light, dimming. The name of the documentary is Dimming, but to find it, you might have to put in geoengineering. And I just saw a link where it is on it is on YouTube. So what geoengineering is what they're saying is because of all the emissions, we're having a greenhouse effect and the earth is getting hotter. And that these greenhouse gases have almost like a lensing effect, and they make the sun more intense on the earth. So what do they want to do, and what has it been proven that they are doing? Is let me go back to this one. Is this they're spraying some type of chemicals in the air, and what it causes to do, it causes less sunlight to hit the earth. And like when we were outside yesterday, me and the girls, we had went outside and looked, and literally it looked like this, with all these planes making all these things, and then they just turn into clouds. And I was talking to some of the brothers, and I was telling them, I said, back in the 80s, it never looked like that. Like, you never saw all that. Even that's living up north in Jersey, where it's cold up there, because it's supposed to be condensation. Mind you, I'm an aircraft mechanic and an aircraft jet engine mechanic. And like I used to work on KC-10s, and I could go back down into the refueling compartment and look out the back of the plane. The planes weren't doing that. Me personally, I think it's something they're putting in the fuel to leave some type of particulate matter in the air. To what? To decrease the amount of sun that is hitting the earth. And you're like, Mike, okay, tie it in, make it make sense. Melanated people, in order to make vitamin D, melanated people need more intense sunlight. If you were to dim the sun out, melanated people who have melanated skin, would not get enough vitamin D, and vitamin D keeps your immune system or your lymphatic system and everything else up and running good. So you decrease the amount of sunlight coming in, you're decreasing the amount of vitamin D, melanate, like darker skinned people are able to get, and you're more at risk for sickness and illness and everything like that. So that's just an interesting thing that I came across, that I realized. And if you watch that documentary, it's interesting. The dimming, it's called the dimming. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we need to we're no longer in slavery where they got us in chains. We no longer on a plantation. We no longer abused by civil rights. What they've done is oppressed us in our minds now, to where now, because they control the media, they just enslave us within. And it's the ultimate throwing rocks and hiding your hands and acting like you didn't do anything. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I just wanted to put all that out there. I hope all you brothers and sisters enjoyed the show. Definitely share this. Hit the like button. I did this in honor of, Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? Putting out real Black history. Not all this fluff that they're putting out there. And all these lies and all this stuff and this hopeless stuff. So, before I close, you heard in a lot of those scriptures I read, what's the answer? To come out of her, to be obedient, to be ye separate, to touch not the unclean thing, to come out from amongst them. First, spiritually, literally, in your mind, come out from among them, and then literally come out from among them and be gathered with like-minded brothers and sisters. And I'll reiterate again, for all y'all who watch this whole thing, just like I said in the beginning, at no point in the Bible does it say other nations are forbidden from being a part of us. It doesn't say it in there. So people from other nations and everything, if the Most High moves on their heart and they follow the laws, statutes, commandments that's laid out by the Most High, they're part of Israel. It's literally culturally. But the same is true with black people who choose to follow the ways of this world. You ain't part of the nation. You are envying your oppressor. You part of them. So we gotta keep that in mind. Okay? Anyway, y'all, with that said, man, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. And definitely hit the like button. And trying to see. Okay, that's a commercial. Okay. Let me see. I got a commercial here. I'm going to run this commercial. I'm not sure what it is. I ain't going to run it. Anyway, appreciate all y'all tuning in. Definitely hit the subscribe on the channel, share this video, get it out there. And I'm Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. Shalom, shalom.
Turn that up. Gotta learn how to bleed the blood of your whole body. Stay in the spirit. Cause Satan could use you if you let him. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that getting me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that getting me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. He been on my line since a younger was a child. Had me shooting guns, popping pills, smoking loud. I'm the main event, but I was following the crowd. Wish I would've known what I know right now. Mama ain't raped like this, had her yelling in the house like where in the hell we go wrong. Mama, them curses can leave us alone. We made an oath to the one on the throne. Them angels was with us, was never alone. Mercy and grace coming straight from the throne. When this was missing, I made it back home. Mama never had to give me alone. He had to open my eyes, I had to put down my pride. Boy, I'm so lit, I'm alive. We gon' follow the Messiah. We gon' follow the Messiah. Messiah, I'm a lick. A bond. Messiah, Messiah. I'm a lick. How about some of Messiah? Ooh. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my enemy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me.